Hey there, my lads. How we doing? This is Elasian Dave. A little bit of a lesson on our map here. So first off, I want you to take a look at these color codes. All right, so red is phase 1, blue is phase 2, and green is phase 3. Just for this little tutorial, just remember those colors. Red, blue, green, red, blue, green, red, blue, green. What was it again? You said it in your head. It was red, blue, green. All right. So take a look here at phase 1. I'm looking in this section, all right, where it says dark side, deploy, combat, and platoons. All right. We'll start with the 194. That means we need to deploy 194 million GP of players logging into the red dark side planet, which is Mustafar, and clicking deploy. The 4.3 comes from some prior data that we had where I calculated that we did 4.3 million worth of clearing waves. So I went ahead and told the calculator that we can do 4.3 million there. Right? And so now it's telling us to go back and do 4.3 mil. And the platoons where it says 50, it's 50 characters. Each platoon kind of category, I think, takes 10. All right, 10 people to fill it up. That may not be right, I'm not sure. But either way, the way to interpret the platoons piece is that it's 50 million. Yes, that's how it's done. It's 50 million, my apologies. All right, 50 million bonus points from platoons, which means we're doing 5 sets of characters. If you add all that up, 194 plus 4.3 is 198.3, plus 50 is 248.3. And if we come up here, 248.3 is exactly what we need to get 3 stars on Mustafar. Okay, so that brings me up to my graphic up here. This tells me just by a quick glance, if we're in phase 1 is red. We're hitting Mustafar. All right, and we're also preloading over on that far right. All right, 115.4. Let's see where that's coming from. Down here I can see, look at the light side, deploy 55.4 and platoon 60. So 55.4 million and 60 million from platoons is, you guessed it, 115.4, which is what they wanted us to do right up here. Just a little bit less than the 116.4 needed to get that. Right. Now sometimes the chart will be a little bit deceptive, especially if we're preloading multiple days, like we are on Corellia. Take a look at this 110.7. Right. Remember, what was that color again? Red, blue, green, red, blue, green. So this 110.7 is what's done at the end of the green phase 3. And then orange is phase 4, where we're going to wrap it up. Let's take a look. How can we get 110.7? All right, the mixed planet is this middle one. So take a look at what we've got. We've got 39.4. 7.1 and 50 million. And then in phase 2, 7.1, we're still fighting on Corellia. And then in phase 3, 7.1 again of fighting. So we want to add that up. 39.4 and 7.1, all right, and 50 and 7.1 and 7.1 again will give you a total of 110.7, all right. You're probably good enough in math to do some addition. Why don't you add that up and see if that's right? It is. Okay. So that's how this is interpreted. The bottom graph is the most boring, but it does show you exactly what we need on any given phase. So for example, think about our phase 2 right here. We're going to be coming in pretty hard at 132.9 and hitting Corellia. We've already put everything from the red phase on it, so it only needs 132.9 to get us to 3 stars. Up on Geonosis, we're doing 147.1 preload. If I come up and take a look, that's just under the 148 that it needs. And then for phase 3, we're still just going to do just a tiny bit of fighting, 7.1 million or so. That'll keep us in that preloaded window. Now, clearly, we did a little better in phase 1 than we thought. If we were to add 7.1 and another 7.1, we would break that preload. We're only about 10 million away, which is why I messaged yesterday and said, hey, You know, hey, Outcast, don't do any more platooning or whatnot, because an extra 10 million platoon would bust us over, and so would this just 7.1 and 7.1. Where's this coming from, guys? Let's take a look at the greater chart here. So over here on the far right, I'm putting in some values. If you look at the far left, it says guild info. So we've got 50 members, 322.6 million. All right, that gives us our deployable power. Then down here we have a little bit of data that I can feed into the chart. I usually say we have about 96% participation. That's one person who can drop the ball. I should say one average person who can drop the ball. Okay, and preload safety of about 1 million. All right, sometimes we cut it a lot closer than that, sometimes a little further, but the computer will stop us 1 million short of a preload. Okay. Then I've got this section. Okay. There's 3 ways we can do this, but over here, here is where I can put in the numbers of preloads that Outcast gives me for our operations, our platoons. Okay. Then I can manually put in the numbers of millions that we can get on any given phase. I'm still trying to work out exactly how to do this when we preload something, because I know, for example, we can do some fighting on light side, but I don't want the computer to tell us to do that for multiple days if we maybe stretch thin using our light side guys on mid as well. So I'm still trying to work that one out. Right. There's an estimator which will tell you how well we should be able to fight, and that estimator comes from being over here, where the computer asks me how many of each of these teams we have. How many are 5 Lord Vaders? How many are 6 Geos teams? How many are 7 Empire teams? Etc. And then down here we can put a little bit of our efficiency of how well we fight in any given zone. Right? So if we had all these numbers, which we could collect from our team, I could fill them in up here, and it would fill out the green estimator form. All right, and we'd use those numbers. Otherwise, it uses the manual numbers that we can put in on our own. All right. At that point, the computer spits out a variety of methods that can get us 20 stars or so. All right. So you can see here there's 3 of them that give us 21 stars. So I chose this top one, which had the most leftover GP, 68.5. I put that in right here for choose a strategy. And then the computer creates the rest. All right. So that's plenty for now, guys. Let me know if you have any questions about anything about how else to interpret it. But I think hopefully that's a pretty good overview of how this works, and we'll take it from there. Catch you guys later. Bye-bye.